Hay veces que se mueve, ahí no lo puedo cambiar.
Okay, this is from libertytothecaptives.net. Scientology doctor and Michael Schiavo removed Terri from society. The articles I have written in reference to Scientology and Terri Schiavo, the death connection, are not written for the purpose of proving that Michael Schiavo is a member of the Church of Scientology. That is unnecessary. His actions reveal his mentality, which in turn betray his affiliations. My purpose is to point out that the way he has treated his disabled wife, Terri, and her beloved family for years specifically conforms to Scientology doctrines. Also, the fact that certain Pinellas County Court judges, notably Judge Greer, have disregarded the Florida statutes and ruled repeatedly in the way that would benefit Scientology's specific agenda is clearly evident. Michael Schiavo's determination to isolate his disabled wife from the world and her family as much as possible has perplexed and distressed most Americans because it is unnatural and cruel. It is not, however, out of the ordinary or improper in the sight of Scientologists who follow the teachings of the founder, the late L. Ron Hubbard. I might add that it all comes from policies. You know, the unlawful policies. L. Ron Hubbard taught that disabled individuals below 2.0 on the emotional tone scale should not be allowed to mix with society. His teachings, which he borrowed from many sources, including not Scientology, containing a doctrine about the deletion of people who are deemed unworthy. It's a very brave new world. Scientology uses it, the tone scale, to judge. If an individual, group, or country is low on the emotional tone scale, it is not worthy of consideration. This is very close to the type of philosophy which can regard people as not quite human. Taken to extremes, it can justify any action against another who is regarded as unworthy of rights. Quote source, Scientology would exterminate undesirables. Where have we seen that before? According to Hubbard, human beings who rank lower than 2.0 on the emotional tone scale should be either processed enough to be raised to the tone scale, audited, or quarantined from society. The sudden and abrupt deletion of all individuals occupying the lower bands of the tone scale from the social order would result in an almost instant rise in the cultural tone and would interpret the dwindling spiral into which any society may have entered. It is not necessary to produce a world of clears in order to have a reasonable and worthwhile social order. It is only necessary to delete these individuals who range from 2.0 down, either by processing them enough, this includes children, by the way, or simply quarantining them from the society. Science of Survival by L. Ron Hubbard, page 173. Hubbard's rationale for teaching his followers to reject the disabled is as follows. The only answers would seem to be the permanent quarantine of such persons from society to avoid the contagion of their insanities. I guess he's talking about himself. And the general turbulence which they bring into any order. There's that word again. Like order out of chaos. Like fraternal order. Like Order of the Rosicrucians. That was Science of Survival by L. Ron Hubbard, page 145. Hubbard's directive to treat an insane person, 2.0 and lower on the tone scale, as a social contagion is a plausible explanation for the shameful abuse of Terri Schiavo and the denial of her rights as a citizen of the United States, as well as the denial of protections afforded her in the Americans with Disabilities Act. Terri has been confined to a single hospice room for 4 years and unlawfully denied any form of therapy for over 10 years. Florida law, which mandates rehabilitation, is at odds with Scientology. At this time, Scientology doctrine, which requires that Terri Schiavo be isolated from society, is being upheld in the Clearwater courts. L. Ron Hubbard, no civil rights for the disabled. Scientology scripture, the writings and recorded spoken words of L. Ron Hubbard, states that people who are low on the Scientology emotional tone scale, these include cognitively and physically disabled people like Terri, includes children, should not have any civil rights of any kind. Who do you guys think are at the very top of the pyramid? Who do you guys think that is? And at the top of the pyramid, we have, well, let's see, in the last 5 years, they made, what do you call that? Assisted bluicide legal in Canada, along with, in the last 5-10 years, bestiality is legal in Canada. It might be changed back, but it was legal for a while. Wakey wakey. In any event, any person from 2.0 down on the tone scale should not have in any thinking society any civil rights of any kind. Science of Survival by L. Ron Hubbard, page 131. Review. According to Hubbard, it is not necessary to produce a world of clears in order to have a reasonable and worthwhile social order. How does Scientology achieve the goal of a reasonable and worthwhile social order? In other words, how does Scientology intend to bring about the societal changes necessary to usher in the New World Order? Answer. Delete those individuals who range from 2.0 down. That also includes, I believe, anybody who is homosexual is deemed 1.1 on the tone scale, I think. Either by processing them enough, with child auditors, Scientology auditing, or simply quarantining them from the society. Where have we seen that before? If I'm not mistaken, whole populations of the world were so-called isolated the last 5 years. Must be a coincidence. Lots of sleep deprivation because everybody was so worried about something to be terrified about. A prime example of Michael Schiavo's application of Scientology doctrine is his decision to place Terri Schiavo in solitary confinement. He appears to be making an effort to cause Terri to lose the will to live and thus be permanently quarantined from society. Also see Keeping Terri Disabled, Michael's Illegal Pretext to KILL. I will leave a link in the description box. Like and subscribe if you choose. Otherwise, have an amazing day or night wherever you are. Peace.